I'm America's digital pro, Kim Commando. Hey, and welcome to Tech News This Week. It's a podcast that gives you just the top stories. We cover the scams, security alerts to keep you up to date, and just the crazy happenings in the world of tech. All right, this week, a startup company is making money by letting men, oh gosh, you're not going to believe this, brainwash their lives through social media, and they're using targeted advertising to make it happen.
I'm Mike James. We're also going to tell you about a doctor who won the right to have certain search results removed from Google.
Plus, with this new teched-out pickup truck, let's say you have a trailer behind you, and then you can't see who's behind the trailer. Well, those days are over, because thanks to technology, you can now see through the trailer that you're towing.
And there's a guy that's blaming a bank for allowing his late father to be scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Plus some upgraded earbuds from a really big company that starts with the letter A, yes, that one, that not only play music, but they're also rumored to track your health too. And this makes me super upset. Why? Just the other day, I lost my AirPods and I bought a new set, and now new ones are coming out soon. All that and much more coming up on Tech News This Week from Commando.com. But first, we'd like to recognize our partners and thank our partners that help make these podcasts possible.
All right, we're going to start today by saying maybe, just maybe, some couples should work on their communication skills. Because if they did, you wouldn't have some men trying to use social media as a way to brainwash their wives. And I don't mean by posting flattering profile photos of themselves. So here's how it works hypothetically. Let's say a husband is not happy with his wife who no longer wants to take part in physical marital relations, but instead of talking about it with her, he'll just go check out this startup company called The Spinner, and they pay him to manipulate his wife with online ads that suggest they rekindle their love lives. To put it mildly, they'll show up as posts on Facebook and Instagram, or maybe alongside bars and footers of some websites. I wish I was joking about this, but you can't just blame the husbands in this scenario. There's enough to go around to the company and, of course, Facebook for going along with it. So for $30, you can pay this company to target anyone you know with any number of campaigns, not just sex. So even things like why it's a good idea to buy a dog for your kid. And once paid for, the target will get a text with an innocent-looking link to tap, and when the person does tap on that link, they get a cookie on their phone, and then ads will commence in full force. So you've just become a victim of phishing by your significant other, who's creepily trying to get you to sleep with them. All right, online advertising is one thing, but in this case, you're not the consumer. You're not a demographic. These ads are going after you and you alone. Facebook's apparently cool with it. Hey, it's payday for them too, I guess. And they have a history of not being too picky when it comes to making money.
You know what they say, what happens on the internet stays on the internet. And that can include a permanent record of any of your past mistakes. But there just might be hope that some mistakes won't follow you around forever. A judge in Amsterdam recently ruled that a surgeon from the Netherlands could force Google to remove search results about a 2014 medical negligence case that led to her suspension, a conditional suspension that still allows her to practice. Now, even though she's still working, a quick Google search for her name would bring up links to a quote-unquote blacklist of doctors, a site that suggests that, well, she should no longer be practicing medicine. And those were the top results. Now, her lawyer calls the decision groundbreaking, and it's said to be the first right-to-be-forgotten case involving medical negligence. This whole right-to-be-forgotten ruling actually came down in the European Union in 2014. And since then, more than 1 million URLs have been yanked from Google search results since. In case you're wondering, this is only happening in Europe. It does not affect us here in the United States.
Well, losing a parent is, of course, one of those things that you just don't even want to talk about because it's so hard. Imagine if you lost a parent and then find out afterward that your parent was scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars before they passed away. It really happened recently in Canada. A 67-year-old man met someone through Match.com, and although it was someone who wasn't who they said they were, she was real enough to him. and he was duped out of all the money he had before he died from pancreatic cancer last September. But the grieving son isn't mad at his late dad. He's mad at the bank for letting him continue to send money to this online romance scanner. And, of course, we see the point. The man had no history of sending money to anybody, especially sending it out to another country. He was allowed by his bank to wire the money 19 times in a period of just over 8 months. And the grand total, $732,000. Wow. And even when he ran out of money, the bank let him open a $300,000 line of credit. I mean, who does that? Apparently telling them he was sending money to friends, building a house in Malaysia, and that was a good enough story for the bank employees. So, no red flags there, right? And to top it off, the man's son is now in contact with the scammer, pretending to be his dad and hoping it leads to an arrest. And this person's casually asking for another $5,000, apparently unaware of the man's death. We'll see how this turns out.
Just ahead, ever wish you could see behind that big trailer you're towing? Well, let me tell you, if you have this pickup truck, thanks to technology, you can. Right now, let me tell you about one of our sponsors, Capterra. Can you believe it's been 30 years since the World Wide Web was invented? And I bet some of you are still using that old, outdated software. Come on, get with the program. Set yourself up for success with new software for your business at Capterra.com. As America's digital pro, I get asked all the time, what's the best software for my business? And I do refer people to Capterra.com. And here's the reason why. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best software solution for your business and discover what you need to make an informed decision. You can search more than 700 specific categories of software, everything from project management to email marketing to even yoga studio management software. So join millions of people who use Capterra each month to find the right tools for their business. Visit Capterra.com/Kim today to find the right tools to make 2019 the year for your business. Once again, that address, Capterra.com/Kim, Capterra.com/Kim.
All right, so if you've ever hauled a trailer, you have to get used to not seeing what's directly behind you because it's being blocked and you don't have X-ray vision. But what if you could see through the trailer, like it's invisible? No, not like the government's invisible cloak research we mentioned in Thursday's Tech News Today podcast. Instead, GMC is about to release a new pickup to address that huge blind spot, along with a lot of other tech features you normally wouldn't see on a big truck. The 2020 GMC Sierra heavy-duty pickup will give you 15 camera views, including that transparent trailer view. You just have to attach the accessory camera that comes with the pickup to the back of the trailer, or even inside the trailer if you're wanting to make sure nothing is shifting during your trip. If you have this fancy truck and a compatible trailer, you can also control the trailer's air conditioning and water heater through a mobile app or your Sierra's infotainment system with a 15-inch monitor that can also feed you details like the trailer's tire pressure. Pricing details haven't been released yet, but you can expect it to be a pretty penny for something that sees through whatever you're hauling. It'll be coming out later this year.
Big tech companies spend big money to keep their executives safe. Wired looked into the cost and uncovered some very interesting facts and figures. Apple spent around $300,000 on Tim Cook's personal security last year. Amazon and Oracle each spent about $1.6 million for Jeff Bezos and Larry Ellison. Alphabet spent less than $1 million to protect its top brass. But Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg security detail costs $7.3 million a year, or about $20,000 a day. But that cost is going to be almost $1 million a month this year. Why so much? Cambridge Analytica, fake news, fake ads, accounts hacked, cover-ups, and more. Hey, Mark, here's an idea. Treat people and their data right, and you'll save about $9.7 million a year.
Well, take a look at security versus convenience. Sometimes you can go to a restaurant or hotel and log into their open Wi-Fi. Sure, it's easy, but also pretty simple for crooks to gain access to your data. but it's also kind of easy for crooks to gain access to your data if you do that kind of thing. Then there are other businesses that actually protect their Wi-Fi access with a password. But then you have to track down an employee for the information, and it's kind of a pain. Isn't there some way to meet in the middle? Well, now I guess there is. Here's how it works. You would tap your phone to a wooden block. It's called the Wi-Fi Porter by 10-1 Design, and it'll connect your phone to the network with a single tap. As long as your phone is NFC equipped, like a lot of Android phones and the newest iPhone XS. And once you tap, you'll be prompted to join the network without needing any kind of password or any companion app. And even without NFC, it's still pretty easy. Just connect using your QR code on the bottom of the block. They're available to pre-order now and will ship soon, so you might just let your favorite coffee shop know about them.
Rumor has it a new version of those amazing Apple AirPods is set to be released, but this one is going to have a keen focus on your health. Digitimes says the AirPods 2, of course, it's the second version, is set to be available to all of us sometime in the first half of this year. But here's the deal. It's going to have health monitoring functions built in. Now, they're not saying where that information's coming from or what type of health monitoring features will be included, so it looks like we'll have to wait and see at this point. But that's not all. Other rumored features about the upcoming or even third generation of AirPods has also included possible features like noise cancellation or improved water resistance. And that just makes a heck of a lot of sense. But think about it. What would the mysterious health functions entail with these new AirPods that are shoved in your ear? Well, think about it. Since they are in your ear, well, at least they'll be able to take your temperature.
A promising new test could predict whether it's likely breast cancer will return to someone who's already had it. Researchers at the University of Edinburgh say the key is the genetic changes that are caused by breast cancer drugs known as aromatase inhibitors, which is a hormone therapy. The scientists studied tumors of more than 60 women who took the drugs and saw noticeable changes in the genetics of women whose tumors regrew. Now they believe they can test the DNA of women on this therapy to determine their risk of relapse to the uncurable secondary cancer, which affects about 35% of women with breast cancer. They hope this discovery can help at-risk women get early treatment or even prevention. Now, if you know of somebody that has cancer, we are doing another cancer update to our Commando On Demand podcast. If you remember, the last time we did this with Dr. Taniguchi, he is a radiation specialist. So if you've ever worried about radiation or if you're worried about radiation upcoming, don't miss this podcast this week or next week. And that's called Commando On Demand. You can get it at podnet.com or, of course, your favorite podcast player, Apple or Android podcasts, up to you.
More tech news from Commando.com is coming up in a moment, including possible ulterior motives involving the viral Facebook 10-year challenge. But right now, a quick thank you to our amazing partners because they help make this podcast possible.
And of course, social media is always watching you as well, and now they could be using a viral challenge as a way to see how you age. So millions of people have shared photos of themselves from 10 years ago to today. In the cleverly named 10-year challenge, it's supposed to be a way to show your friends how much or little that you've aged or changed over the past decade. But if you listen to the Kim Commando show this past weekend, Kim and Andrew discussed the topic, and a big ulterior motive to this challenge could be to help facial recognition algorithms learn how to detect aging on a massive scale. It could do so without having to sift through everyone's old profile pictures. Instead, people taking part in the challenge are doing the work for them. So what could that mean? Well, for one, it might be a big step in making facial recognition smarter. And think about insurance companies. They could potentially see how you age and use that as a determination of whether or not to insure you. So although it's nice to see a challenge that doesn't involve potential bodily harm, that just means there's another catch and another way that your data could be used against you.
Maybe you're the one person who has never had a Twitter or Facebook account. The massive social media network computers don't know anything about you, right? Wrong. They know a lot. There is truly no place left to hide online. Researchers from the University of Vermont found that by looking at the profiles of people who you know on Twitter and Facebook, the computer algorithms can make some pretty good guesses about you. It doesn't take a lot either. Say you don't use social media. Well, the social media networks need access to just 8 of your contacts to accurately predict 2/3 of the time what you like, dislike, and how you'd respond to a situation. Wow, you don't post a thing and the computers are wrong only 1/3 of the time. How'd you like to be married to that?
All right, go ahead and guess. How many people at Amazon do you suppose are dedicated to working solely on Alexa? 100, 500, 1,000? Well, if you're guessing about 1,000, you'd be, well, way off, not even close. Business Insider reports that there are 10,000 Amazon employees who only work on Alexa and Echo products. A lot of people on the Alexa team focus on the obvious, technical aspects like hardware and machine learning. Another team focuses on the Q&A part of Alexa to help make the digital assistant smarter in that area. But it also is about personality. Yes, I said personality to the Alexa assistant. They want to make Alexa more of a companion than just a smart speaker. So there's a whole team dedicated to how Alexa behaves and how her personality, putting my 2 fingers up for quote marks now, is formed. Now, 10,000 people may seem like a lot, but consider that Amazon has more than 600,000 employees working for them worldwide.
You're up to date, and I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando, and I'll see you next time.